Alright, so now we're at the fractions, decimals, and percent station. Now guys, you really need to pay attention to this one. This is when everything comes together, and you'll be dealing with this the entire school year and even in 7th and 8th grade. Okay? So, fractions, decimals, and percents. Here we go. First we're going to review. You had a video that last Friday that you were supposed to have watched, changing decimals to percents and percents to decimals. So we're going to go over a couple problems. It's not going to be a very in-depth explanation because you can always go back and watch this video if you get confused. It's on my YouTube channel. So decimals to percents, percents to decimals, I'm just going to do 4 of them real quick. What if I give you 71 hundredths? Okay. Well, remember, you do the Dr. Pepper method. Okay, Dr. Pepper. You start at a decimal, you got to go to the right. So we're going to go like this, 1, 2. So guys, now that equals 71%. What if I give you 0.4? Same thing. We got it. We start at the decimal. We have to go to the percent, so we're going to the right. 1, 2. Okay, and then that gives us 40%. Because you have to add that 0, right? Now, what if we were given a percent? So say 63%. Well, since we're at the percent, we start on this side and we have to go 2 to the left. So, we're going to start over here and go like this, 1, 2. So that gives us 0.63, 63 hundredths. Remember, percents are always out of 100. And finally, what if I give you, let's give you a funky one. I'm going to actually give you 2 more. What if I give you 115%? Well, then we still start over here, and we're going to go 2 to the left. And that's going to give us 1.15, 1 and 15 hundredths. Okay, the same thing. If you have a whole number like this, 1, and then with a decimal after, so 1 and 15 hundredths. If I was going to change it back to a percent, I would start here and go to the right, and it'd give me 115%. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and review the fraction to decimal. Remember, you can do it 2 ways. You can say T-bow, top in, bottom out, or you can talk about Ned and donkey. Ned meaning the numerator, donkey the denominator, and at the end of the night when they go to sleep, who sleeps inside the house? Ned sleeps inside, donkey stays outside. It doesn't matter what method you choose, but you need to use this method to make a fraction into a decimal. So let's take this very basic fraction, 3/5. Which one goes inside? Top in, bottom out, Ned, donkey. So the 3 goes inside, the 5 stays outside. Now we divide. Can 5 go into 3? No, it can't. Put a 0 there. Now, after this, we ran out of numbers. We have to add a decimal. We add a 0 here, so this makes 30. 5 goes into 30 6 times. And then you have nothing left. So, to make this fraction into a decimal, you do this. So now, you can plainly see that 3/5 is the same thing as 6/10. Okay? That is the basic review, guys. Fractions to decimal, top in, bottom out, Ned, donkey. If you need a more in-depth explanation, I believe it's on Miss Adams' YouTube page, but it's a fraction and decimal video we watched last week. Okay, now we're going to change fractions, decimals, and percents. We're going to convert them back and forth all across the board. So what I wrote right here was 2 different fractions. Remember, you should be taking notes. If you need to, pause it. Now, we're going to make these fractions into decimals and into percents. So we're going to make it into a decimal and into a percent. Okay, we'll put the final answers right over there. Okay, now first let's do the 7/8. 7/8 is going to be kind of a big decimal, because every time you have an eighths as a fraction, you're always going to have 3 numbers after the decimal place. So which one goes inside the box? Top in, bottom out, Ned, donkey. I gotta switch to pen, guys, because this marker is giving me a headache. So, top in, bottom out. So the 7 goes in the box, 8 stays outside, right? So, here we go. Can 8 fit into 7? No, it can't. So I'm going to put a 0 right here and a decimal. And then I'm going to put a 0 here. How many times can 8 fit into 70? Use your fingers if you have to. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64. So 8 goes into 70 8 times, 64. Now I should have given myself more room right here. 70 minus 64 is 6. You still have stuff left over. This isn't elementary anymore. Elementary, you'd probably just put remainder 6. We can't have anything left. So now add a 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 60 how many times? 7. So now you have 56. 60 minus 56 is going to be 4. Add another 0 because we still have numbers remaining. So that is a 40 if you can't see it. I apologize. So now 8 goes into 40 5 times. And then we have nothing left. So look at that. 7/8 as a decimal is going to be 875 thousandths, right? So now my job is to make 875 thousandths into a percent. Just go ahead and rewrite it. It's pretty easy. And if you use the Dr. Pepper method, remember, you're starting at decimal and you want to go to a percent, so you're going to move it 2 to the right. So you're going to go 1, 2, and where does it end up? Between the 7 and 5. So now the percent becomes 87.5%. Okay, so we just did the 7/8. Now let's do a little trickier one. A much easier one. 1/4. So it's top in, bottom out, Ned Donkey. We should have this one actually memorized. Okay, 4 cannot go into 1, so you put a 0 and a decimal. Now how many times can 4 go into 10? Twice. 4 times 2 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Now you can't have a remainder anymore. So you put a 0, bring this guy down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. And now you have nothing left. So 1/4 now equals 25 hundredths. Or again, like a quarter. That's what a quarter looks like in change. Now if we want to change this to a percent, remember, decimal, 2%. It starts over here, we're going to move it 2 to the right. So we're going to go 1, 2. And the percent is going to be 25%. Fairly easy, correct? So guys, we just took a couple fractions. We then made them into decimals by using top in, bottom out, Ned Donkey. And then we made it to percent using the Dr. Pepper method. Okay? What if I give you a decimal? Let's say if I give you 26 hundredths. Let me clear this up. It looks unfocused. 26 hundredths. Now, could I make this into a percent or a decimal? Hold on, we're having a crazy attack of this thing. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you both ways. You can make this into, you can make this into a fraction. What fraction is this? 2, 6. The 6 is in the what place? The hundredths, right? You could make this into a fraction and put 26 over 100, right? Or, remember Dr. Pepper. This is a decimal. You want to change it to a percent. You go to the right. So you can go 1, 2, and it can equal 26%. So look at that. You have your decimal, your percent, and your fraction. Now, the only thing about this fraction is on all fractions, you can leave it like that. I mean, it's not incorrect, but almost all the time we want you guys to simplify your fractions, meaning you need to divide them as many times as you can to get to its smallest value, I guess. Not smallest value. I can't find the words right now. Sorry, I've been getting distracted with all these phone calls and everything. Kind of forgot. What I've had my kids do in the past is focus on these 4 numbers. 2, 3, 5, and 10. Every time they get a fraction, I have them focus on these numbers and ask themselves, can they divide this fraction by 2, 5, 3, or 10? Remember, you want to be able to divide the top and the bottom by the same number. Okay? Now, we'll talk about these numbers later, but I would write these down. These are very good to remember just to help you out and simplify. Now, 2 can go into both of these. So if I do 26 divided by 2, 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 6 3 times. Okay? So now we have 13. Now, what is 100 divided by 2? 50. So again, 26 hundredths turns into 26 over 100. You can simplify it to 13 fiftieths, but also 26 hundredths turns into 26%. Okay, final example. Let's give you guys this one. What if I give you 156%? Now, my job is to change it to a decimal and to also change it to a fraction. So check this out. I'm going to change to a decimal first, okay? Now I'm going to show you both ways. I'm going to change to a decimal. Now when we have the Dr. Pepper method, we start at a percent, so our decimal starts over here, and we have to move it 2 to the left, right? So it's going to start here and move 2 to the left. It ends up right there, so it becomes 1.56. So 1 and 56 hundredths. So I just said the fraction, 1 and 56 hundredths. This actually becomes a mixed number because that is a whole number. 1 and 56 hundredths. Okay? Now, we do need to simplify this. Okay? Now, when we simplify, again, try to remember these numbers we talked about, 2, 3, 5, and 10. Please write these down to use on your assignment after this. 2, 3, 5, 10. Use them as a group. Help each other. Now, I can multiply both of these by 2 because these are both even numbers. So I already know 100 divided by 2 is 50. So let's do 56 divided by 2. 2 goes into 5 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to subtract this. Bring down my 6. 2 goes into 16 8 times. Well, can I still simplify? Are these both still even numbers? Yes. So, what is half of 50? 25. What is half of 28? 14. So now it is in simplest form, but don't forget about this. Okay? So I'm going to write down my whole number, 1 and 14/25. I know it's been a lot thrown at you. Again, rewind, watch it again, whatever you got to do. But guys, remember, when you're converting from fractions to decimals, percents, there's multiple ways to do it. You can change your fraction to a percent, your percent to a decimal, whatever you have to do. But write down all these tricks and ideas and tools you can use to complete your assignment. And guys, this is going to be used the entire time through middle school and in high school. You need to know how to play with these numbers, okay? And these are very good numbers to look at, 2, 3, 5, 10, on what you could simplify your fractions by. Hey, I guess that bell just means we should probably stop talking on this video. Make sure to complete all the work at your station, and all right, take it easy.